Bring in David Gergen, our other senior political analyst. David, it's going to go before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals right now. That's considered a pretty liberal court, as you know, but eventually it'll wind up at the Supreme Court. It's going to be critical to see the makeup of the Supreme Court once a decision there has to be made. But give us your thoughts right now. What happens in the interim?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but I would like to point out, Wolf, Vaughn Walker, who is the judge in this case, he's a federal district judge. He's the chief of the district judges in the San Francisco area, happens to be a personal friend. I've known him for some 20 years. He was appointed by Reagan Bush. He was seen as a conservative appointment at the time. So for him to issue this ruling, I think, is quite striking. It's also striking he's the same federal judge who took on the Bush administration over wiretapping. Said they did not have the authority that they asserted for. So I think this is a striking case in which he's come forward. It's daring. I think it's personally courageous in some ways on his part. But this is not coming from some lefty out on the left coast. This is coming from a man of principled views of the law.
I want both of you to listen. Hold on one second, Gloria, because we're getting a statement from Governor Schwarzenegger, the California governor that's just coming into the Situation Room right now. I'm going to read it. It's 3 paragraphs, but it's very precise because I want you to help me interpret for our viewers the point that Governor Schwarzenegger is making. Remember, this case involved him. Here's the quote from Governor Schwarzenegger. Judge Walker had the great responsibility of deciding whether Proposition 8 violates the Constitution of the United States. He heard in-depth arguments from both sides on fundamental questions of due process, equal protection, and freedom from discrimination. There are strong feelings on both sides of this issue, and I am glad that all viewpoints were respected throughout the proceedings. We should also recognize that there will continue to be different points of view in the wake of this decision. All right, here's the next and critically important paragraph. For the hundreds of thousands of Californians in gay and lesbian households who are managing their day-to-day lives, this decision affirms the full legal protections and safeguards I believe everyone deserves. At the same time, it provides an opportunity for all Californians to consider our history of leading the way to the future and our growing reputation of treating all people in their relationships with equal respect and dignity. Today's decision is by no means California's first milestone, nor our last on America's road to equality and freedom for all people. David, it sounds like he supports this decision by the district court.
There's no question about it. I think he's sensitive to the fact that there are strong views on the other side of this, but he goes to the fact that there was all points of view were included in the proceedings. Judge Walker went out of his way to make sure that there was a large record built for the Court of Appeals. He knew this was going to go on appeal wherever it went, and by the way, he's been very careful not to talk to me about the merits of the case or to others. But he did know this was going to go forward, and he built very carefully a foundation so that the Court of Appeals would have recognized that the trial court had done a very thorough job, and it would have a lot of material upon which to base its own conclusions.
You know, and there were some